Do you remember? Now, differential equations aren't in this chapter for us, but they were in the AB. Okay. Do you remember what a differential equation is? That's what we're doing after break. A solution is a what? Function. Okay, guys? Now, Nick, you need to put your phone away. It's an equation involving derivatives whose solution is a function. Okay, we'll do that in chapter 7. Thank you. No. Okay, you guys, what's an integral? It's a signed area under the curve. If we were talking about distance versus displacement, which one would it be? Okay, guys, focus. I know you guys are ready to be done, but we still have work to do. And this would be like displacement. Whoops, I can't get it in there. Okay, how do you find the actual area? It's not an integral, because what happens here? Matt, what happens in this situation? What's the integral? It's 0. But the area, if I want to paint this, I have to buy enough paint for all that area. So if we integrate, what are we going to do? We're going to integrate the absolute value of our function. Okay? If it's a now you guys will have one of these problems on your exam. Because remember, 60% is AB. Okay, girls? 60% is AB, so you will have one of these on the exam. Now, all I'm going to do is find the area. And I want to go between x equals -1 and x equals 2. Oh, I'll have to get a better one. Okay, so I want this area. And do you remember what we would do? We would slice this up into rectangles. Oops. Okay. Nick, you're going to slice this into rectangles. What's the base of this going to be? Change in x. Now, you guys, we don't mark it wrong on the exam if you mess up the differential. But if you do that, you usually mess up the whole thing. So the area for one rectangle is equal to the base times the height. We know that. Okay, so what's the height? If the base is delta x, what's the height of this? It's the what? X or y coordinate? It's the y coordinate, isn't it? Now, take a look at this. If you didn't notice this last year, notice it this year, Alex. That the base and the height, because they are perpendicular, will always be different variables. I'm not even looking at what the function is, because I don't care right now. But if this is an x, that's going to be a y. If this is a y, that will be an x. They're always different. So now what will my integral look like? Because I'm going to do what to this? I'm going to add that all up, take the limit, and let n go to infinity. And Riemann says, I don't want to write it that way. I don't like it. So I'm going to write it this way. It's the integral of y dx. Right? Now, the dx tells you what variable you want in your integral. And that's the reason why I stress this, the delta x. And if you don't put the differential in, it's really easy to mess this up. Now, if you do it correctly without a differential, you will get full credit. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's to make the graders' lives easier. Okay, what? I want y in there. I don't want y in there. I want x in there. What is y? What is y? It's x squared plus 1. So I'm going to put that right in there. And then I have to find where I'm going to integrate it between. From, and where are the x values? These are x values. Where are they going from? -1 to 2. Now, in my AB class, I did integrate that. But if you set it up, I believe you guys know how to do these integrals because they're not very tough. Yes, if you do it by hand, you should get an answer of 6. What I'll do is put the complete video up online in both the AB folder and the BC folder. So if you want to go back and look at specifics. But don't forget you may use your graphing calculator. Sometimes you're going to want to. Now, they've been inconsistent about which section of the exam this has been on. They said they took it off of the calculator part because there was some program out there that if you just type in the functions, it did everything for you. I've never seen the program, so I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, they took it off the calculator part for the not last 2 years, but the 2 years excluding last year. And then last year, I was surprised because there it was in the calculator part. So I don't know where you're going to see it, but you will see it. Now, sometimes they've done this as the double bubble. And that means 5 points will be AB and 4 points will be BC. So they could do something like this, have you find the area under that curve. They could do a volume to get the AB part done. And then they could ask you to find the length of this arc, which we haven't done yet, but we will do it next week. And that's how they get the BC topic in with the AB topic. You would have a different graphing problem, a different area problem, but you will have one of those. Now, do you think you have enough to go on to try and complete the worksheet? Remember, I'm going to check you off for your worksheet. It's the highest one minus the lowest one. So it's the line minus the parabola. And this one I would slice horizontally, because then I don't have 2 integrals. But you want to do it the easy way if you want.
I mean, I thought that was pretty easy. Just take, find an intersection and
Plus the integral of that. It's actually easier to do that, but it doesn't. In that case, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you don't have a choice.
So that'd be x plus 4 over x squared minus...
No. Draw the slice. Eric's giving me asking this question. That graph, by the way, is wrong. Regraph it. So if we do this one, let's use my crayon. And you draw your slice. It's all geometry. Okay, you guys? I skipped to example 4 because I had a question on it, so I figured, well, might as well do it. Then what's the base here? Delta what? X. How do you find this height? What do you do with these 2 y values? What'd you say? Yeah. So the area for 1 is y1 minus y2 times delta x. Is that okay or not? I'm going through this quickly. Then you're going to integrate this. y1 minus y2. Does it matter the order in which you do this? Yes. If you get a negative answer, that means you have them in the wrong order. But then just put a negative in front and fix your sign. Because you're not going to have time to redo the problem, rewrite the problem. But you can fix it. As long as it's mathematically correct, that's okay. For example 4. Let's see, ask me that one. And then, what do you have to do? You have to integrate. Now, which variable do I want here? I want the x's, don't I? So, it's the integral. Which is the top function, the line or the parabola? X plus 4 minus the parabola, which is x squared minus 2 dx, that's like a parentheses, and then I have to figure out where these intersect. Yes, if you're going to use the calculator, it's FNINT. In this case, it could be F1 of x, it would be y1 minus y2. X, comma, A, comma, B. Mm-hmm. And I need to find this x coordinate in this one. How am I going to do that? Griffin? How am I going to find the x value here? Well, I need to know where they intersect. What's true about the y coordinates? Yeah, how do you do that? What's true about the y coordinates? They are the same. So that means the right-hand sides must be the same. And if you have to factor anything on the exam, it's not going to be too tough. It may not be a calculator question. Calculator is only given to you on 2 problems. Now, to solve any equation, we set it equal to 0. So I'm going to move everything on the right to the left. So it's minus x minus 2. Then we get the 4 over there, it's minus 4. So that I have this. X squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. Okay? 3 and 2, but now I got to get the signs in there. Minus 3 plus 2. Now, when my daughter went to the university, they made her, she did something like that, but she just wrote down the answer. She had to write out this statement, just to let you know that this is something that could happen to you next year, seniors. I know, it seems kind of silly to me to write it out, but they did make her write it out because you're communicating to somebody what you're doing. When you write 3 and 2 down, I don't know what you're thinking, why you got that. This is very clear. So I'm going to integrate from -2 to 3. And that's all there is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that picture's wrong. It's, and I could do this with you guys. How do you factor this? You can factor. Not always can you factor it with 4 terms, but I can factor a greatest common factor out of that. I think I can do that. X squared, I'm going to leave with x minus 3 plus, or actually minus, I'll take a -1 out of this one. And then it's x minus 3. And now I have a GCF. I have a greatest common factor of x minus 3 here. So I get y equals x squared minus 1. If I factor these out, I get x squared minus 1 times x minus 3. And that factors further. So that's why I know that that graph is wrong. You are not going to be expected to be able to do this kind of factoring. I think that has gone away. They have to break it into parts, by the way, and it's 5.75. That's because if you integrate from -1 to 2, this region right here is negative. So to do this problem, you must break it into 2 integrals. You integrate from -1 to 1. That should be at 1. And then I'm going to do f of x. I'm not going to write it out. By the way, if they clearly define f of x for us, just write f of x. You don't have to rewrite the function. So I'm going to integrate this region right here. No, what's wrong with this integral? This is what kind of a number? Positive or negative? What is it? Positive or negative? It's negative. I don't want negative. I want the actual area, so you have to minus it. Yes, it does. My picture's wrong. Put it on your graphing calculator. Sorry.
This is sufficient enough for you.
No, I don't want to see the calculator language.
Well, what else do you want?
I want to see an integral like this.
What are we gonna like?
Okay, you guys? Calculator language will earn you nothing. So if you do FNINT, that's what you do in our calculators, but not every calculator does that. Inspire and the new pretty print doesn't do that at all. They want to see the integral. So what's the answer here? I want this region right in here. Put your slice in. So it's the integral from A to B, and let's call this one G and this one F. Which one's going to go first, G or F? So it's G of X minus F of X dx. That's it. That leaves you one problem to do.